Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the S2E2 episode, and today, after being in a break over 10 days, today I'm going to cover the musical collision ideological clash between two waves in Serbia that have been going back and forth amongst themselves for the past 30 plus years, if not even longer. Ladies and gentlemen, Ceca versus Karleuša. Now, as a foreigner, you're probably wondering who are Ceca and Karleuša. So Ceca has been considered the legend of the folk music that she started in early 90s of the past century, and Karleuša started her career in the late 90s with her some pop influence that she made on one of the future albums. She's like trying to be like Madonna, she's trying to be controversial, she's trying to be all sorts of the same place at the same time, trying to be very tough. But later I'm going to talk about her. For now, I'm just going to give you a brief introduction. So what actually boils down to is that in this generation there has been this ongoing musical clash within the turbo folk community, or this pop, whatever Karleuša is playing, sounds like, doesn't fucking matter, has been going back and forth amongst themselves, and they've been trying to up and one each other ever since the 90s or maybe early 2000s at best. So what they always love to tell to each other is when they go to taverns, when they go to coffee shops, when they go anywhere, wherever you can imagine, they would try to ask amongst each other, like, who is better, like Ceca or Karleuša, or even better, Ceca or Jeca. And based on that question, you can actually determine somebody's personality based off that answer. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of my video, so Ceca versus Karleuša has been like an ideological clash, like two anime villains trying to claim the first place in Serbia. But I have to say, from this current standpoint, as I'm making this video, Ceca is really in the headlights in the first place, and Karleuša is now close second, but not even close there. It's because Ceca has been working on her songs, and she had like a platitude of good albums. So for those who don't know, Ceca started in 1988, and her first name of the album was called Cvetak za Novetak. Difficult to translate, my friend Željko Bradović would say. The second album would follow with Crazy Heart, Let Me Love Him in 1990, The Boogeyman in 1991, What Is That in Your Veins in 1993, I Still Sleep in Your T-Shirt by Default 1994. By the way, Ja još spavam u tvojoj majci is still like a cult classic amongst the girls. They usually play it for their exes or where they're in love or whatever the fuck. But the point is that I Still Sleep in Your T-Shirt is like a cult classic amongst the Serbian youth, especially girls/women. Fatal Love in 95, Emotionally Crazy in 1996, Masquerade 1997, Ceca 2000 in 1999, Decade 2001, Worse Than Love 2004, Ideally Bad 2006, Love Lives On 2011, just like Titanic. No, he didn't. The Call 2013, and the latest one, Autogram 2016. So it has been 9 years since Ceca has made a new album. So basically, in these albums that I just mentioned a couple of moments ago, from Cvetak za Novetak to the Autogram, so Ceca has really followed the modern trends, and what actually boils down to the fundamental difference in which Ceca goes for the emotions and usually it revolves around, as I mentioned in my first video of the second season, S2E1, you can go check it out. It boils down to those breakups, and it involves to the status quo of a female person who has not moved on after a certain guy entered and left her life, and she has been trying to recover ever since, or if they're regretting like a missed opportunity or a love that couldn't be for XYZ reasons in Serbia or whichever country you couldn't fall in love, or XYZ reason for that. And I usually, Ceca's songs are really close to the heart, unlike to Karleuša. I'll get to Karleuša in a couple of moments. So currently I'm covering Svetlana Ceca Ražnatović, Mrs. Ražnatović, Miss, whatever, sorry. The point is now that Ceca herself has made her albums, as I said, Ceca 2000, Decade, Worse Than Love. So in it, usually the girls themselves or the millennial chicks, or even the Gen Z chicks, etc., etc. So it has going on, and the point is that in itself, the songs are usually boiled down to love, betrayal, and hypocrisy, and stuff and whatnot. So you can imagine like the like human relationships, dynamics, breakups, goodbyes, bitterness, being judgmental, whatever. So Ceca has got in her albums usually the aesthetics of either a departure or like a fond sentimental memory of a person who used to love you, but he or she is no longer present in your life. So you can even use from a male perspective if you're playing a male character in Sorabendia or a female character in Sorabendia. So Ceca has really made an impact, as I just said, in the early 2000s when she made, I think in my humble opinion, I would put Ideally Bad from 2006 in her top 3. And The Call is also, the album boils down to those modern relationships, and there's like a one, I cannot remember as I'm currently filming this video, but she's basically telling in her song to her boyfriend to call that girl and break up with her because she cannot yawn or sigh for the two of them. And in those albums, so in The Call, Ceca has adapted to the modern transition in Sorabendia, where the music has upgraded, thank God. And now she's just making the modern pop songs that are usually, as I mentioned, revolving around love and blah blah blah. And on her road, so what she has done is actually created a very amazing success, and she has had sold out concerts in arena, if I'm not mistaken, or Tashmaidan. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. The Ceca fans, I don't follow Ceca. I only listen to the couple of songs and that's it. So I'm not much of a fan of neither of Svetlana or Jelena Karleuša. So anyway, in this point, so Ceca has amassed a massive follow, and I think she has now like a TV show with the famous personalities, whatever the fuck. And she has made a cult status because she has sang those songs, and those songs have remained etched in the girl's identity and the way they address those issues they have been experiencing in real life. So they usually, either they can use it for comedic purposes, or they can actually call out like a certain guy who hasn't done either shit, or whenever they post something on social media, it's like the guy they actually like, he's more like a status quo person. He's not either moving inch of a muscle and isn't doing anything in order to get her into bed or, to fuck each other brains out. No. Now, we're going to pause Svetlana, and I'm going to also address some of her issues that she had in her private life after Karleuša. Now, on the scene shows Jelena Karleuša. Now, Karleuša, her personality, we're not talking about the current version of the JK Brazzers girl. We're now talking about a woman that has decided to, her personality is usually like a heel girl that doesn't like or doesn't abide by the rules. She's by herself. She's like diva. She's spontaneous. She causes controversy, everything she says or whatever she appears. And that's basically I'm also going to get to some incidents that have taken place on the summer with her concerts in a couple of minutes from now. But in the difference when it comes to Karleuša, so basically Karleuša has made those pop songs, and she also has tried, to go with, just the loves and the tragedy and whatnot. But if you check her albums, the first one is called Mirror, 1995. Guys Should Get Married, 1996. Witches and Fairies, 1997. Jelena, 1998. Gilly Gilly, 1999. Like tickling someone. For Your Years, 2001. Only for Your Eyes, which was her massive album. I'm not going to dispute that. It was very sensational at the time. Karic and Beka TV, whatever the fuck. Magic in 2005. JK Revolution 2008. Diva 2012. And then it took her 11 years from 2012 to 2023 when she made Alpha and Omega in the same year, 2 years ago. And now the upcoming album is now in the schedules, in the foreshadowing. It's called Enigma. It's going to be published sometime in the close or distant future. You have to ask Mrs. Brazzers Karleuša what is going on. You're probably wondering why I'm calling her like that, but there is like a whole discography of the villainy between the two people. So there are a lot of things I'm probably not going to cover. I'm going to forget as I'm speaking to you. So Karleuša has gained her reputation, even though she's like a terrible singer, mid at best. But when she made those like a Private Maniac, or there is a kitty cat around you, she's going to scratch claws at you, blah blah blah. And her songs are really as I mentioned, she made this personality where she's like Miss Rebellion, Mrs. Against Authority, and nobody can tell her what to do anything. Like, wrestling fans are gonna crucify me when I make a comparison, but she had tried when she was in her early 20s to be like a female Stone Cold, where she would just show up and raise hell and leave, which was actually her intentions if you watch her career. I know I haven't. And the fundamental difference between Karleuša and Ceca is that Karleuša blew with Only For Your Eyes album in 2002, and with Magic, if I may say so, or some other like JK Revolution, but especially even Diva resurfaced. But the point is that Ceca was already present in the scene, and I'm also going to mention, I do apologize, I forgot to mention that to themselves, between Ceca and Karleuša, they were not very fond of each other ever since from the early beginnings. I haven't followed that much, but the point is they really hate each other's guts and they are really like enemies. But I'm not saying that false enemies like in WWE where they're eating in a restaurant together. No, Karleuša and Ceca have gone back and forth with each other in public, accused each other of, copyright infringements and whatnot. So it has been like a really controversy around that. So basically Ceca doesn't like Karleuša and vice versa. So anyway, as much as Karleuša was trying to make a name for herself, that much Ceca was like a constant shadow over her, and Ceca would take the first place, and Karleuša was trying to make whatever she could out of her controversy and the way she spoke, and she's a great supporter of LG. I don't know how to spell, sorry. And she is very fond of that, but usually she's just using it for her own benefit and her own clitoris, but that's not the point. And now Ceca has been first place ever since, and the problem is that with Karleuša, every time she posts on social media, she likes to say that I think she had at the summer like a recent interaction with Ceca, and she took a picture on her Twitter, and she said that somehow Ceca felt like a type of person that she was like afraid of Karleuša, when in reality Ceca or Svetlana, Miss Svetlana, has not even acknowledged the woman in the airplane, and Karleuša has created this wrestling storyline where she's like the Sigma woman, and her rival that's very close to her in an airplane, she was afraid to speak to her or address her, or the gossips or the fairy tales that Karleuša loves to invent ever since the early 2000s. Now, what Karleuša is known for is not like I can say, when it comes to the music, it's like for the modern wave. That's how some really crazier chicks than me love, but I'm not a fan of her. I do believe Karleuša should do porn, but doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, now Karleuša has had some like tumultuous relationships herself, and the funniest one was with the son of the Bogoljub Karic. I even forgot what was his name, and she had married him. And the funny thing about it is, when that relationship itself has not lasted a very much of a fuck of a long time, because not too long after that, Karleuša was caught with a bodyguard, and the bodyguard was, I don't have to draw, you get the picture. Now she gets divorced, and now she moves on with Duško Tošić, the football player. So even they were in a relationship for like a decade or a stronger, if I'm not mistaken. So it was like a solid marriage, I guess. I don't know. I don't follow that shit. And what she does, she falls into another affair with another football player, Ognjen Vraneš. And to tell you that there was like a scandal in Sorabendia where her pictures leaked online. And when I say pictures, I mean the picture of her cat. Sorry, cat lover, sorry, but you get the picture. And a lot of hot pictures that she has sent to him. And two of them had like a sweaty remembrance night of philosophy one time at some sexy hotel. And that was also heard, and Duško Tošić said, fuck it, I'm divorcing it. And now Karleuša is now in this, with the Singerica, they're trying now to judge people for the way they sing and blah, blah. But I have to say, I love the Singerica more than Mrs. trying to be diva, because the Singerica, at least, he is honest and with himself, he's very authentic. And the thing I respect about him, he is so unapologetic about himself that I haven't seen that being somebody like himself in a very long time. And there is like a judge court like Undertaker's court in Sorabendia, where if you're by yourself, when I mean by yourself, when you're your own personality, when you're authentic and you're not fooling anybody or not bullshitting anybody, the Singeritsa present himself in a very crazy way, and he doesn't give a fuck, and which is masked again, garnered a lot of fans, but also like a polarizing. So the Singeritsa is also very popular, but also polarizing at the same time, because the Singeritsa has been accused of doing some quotation marks illegal things at the concert, even though what the Singeritsa is basically doing at his concert, he's using the playback and also he's giving food to the people. But what the Singeritsa has been known for, no worries, I'll get to Karleuša and Ceca in a second, I just have to describe him. So Despic is now doing amazing things. So he was accused of taking advantage of people because he would hit them with his sneaker on somebody's head, or he would give them food. He would give them spaghetti, if I'm not mistaken, at a concert, or even a pork at some concerts. So the people of Informer were not too thrilled, not too amazed, or not too impressed when they had heard that the Singeritsa is doing the evil thing. He's, guys, he's like hitting people on the head and he's taking advantage. He's very evil. And the Singeritsa has not really taken it seriously, because in order for him to take it seriously, it has to be seriously. So, but I can see that the Singeritsa has Karleuša's number. I'm not going to get into that. Probably Singeritsa is going to get into Karleuša. You get the picture. So anyway, this clash has been very vocal, as I mentioned at the beginning of my video, in the past 30 plus years, but has gotten intense in the past 15 years or so. And the Karleuša fans are saying to the Ceca fans that Ceca is overrated. Ceca are saying to Karleuša overrated, and they're going back and forth, back and forth. It's like a tennis match of Djokovic, and Djokovic is going to score eventually. But in this tennis court player coach room syndrome, I cannot really tell you as a YouTuber who is in the right. So I guess I have to give like a fair advantage to Ceca. It's because at least Ceca's songs still have that quality, and the songs of hers were written by late Marina Tucakovic, and Marina Tucakovic was a famous songwriter in Sorabendia, and she passed away a few years ago. But the point is that she was very known for writing her poems, and some accuse her of being misogynistic or meandristic, like a hatred for the men and women and blah blah. You can find the gray area and decide for yourself. And Yeah. So anyway, the point is that this clash is very on forward and very popular, especially when people go to Slavas and whatnot. So the point is that you have to choose for yourself which wave are you going to support, whether it's going to be like for Ceca or for Karleuša. And up to this day, the clash has been very vocal, and the people love to brag still on social media who is fan of what. So here is my take. So I think Ceca is in the really good advance, and basically Karleuša is now trying to be like Ceca, but it's not working any wonders. So thank you very much for coming to S2E2. S2E3 will follow very soon, probably next week. Until then, thank you so much for your time. Sorry for this mini rant. I just wanted to describe the cultural scene in Sorabendia, and up until this day, if you're celebrating Slava, apologies for Archangel Mihailo, Srećna Slava, and until then, Slavi your Slava, believe in Christ, and be straight edge, and fuck the government. Thank you so much, have a great day.